guys, and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. If you are new to my channel, you are highly and very welcome. And today I'm actually going to be treating a subscriber and request. So this gown, I'm going to be showing you how to cut to draft rather this fishtail off-shoulder gown. So someone actually sent it to me. So if you want me to illustrate any picture for you, that's any illustration, you could send it to me on Instagram at stylishnaija, or on the Facebook and group, which is Stylish Naija Sewing Group. It's on Facebook, so you could send and drop your pictures there for me. And I actually have loads and tons of pictures, so I'm just going through them and I'm doing the ones that I actually have the materials readily available. So you guys should just bear with me. In no time I'm still going to treat all of your requests. So today I'm going to be teaching you on how to draft this fishtail and off-shoulder gown. Like I said initially, I made a video, that's my last video, of this off-shoulder top. So this is what I'm going to be using for the top part. But this one that I have here, you could see the sleeve was actually attached to it. That's the picture that is up here. But this one that I have here, the sleeve is together with it. So I'm going to drop this link down, and so you are going to watch this video, and then you know how to come out with this princess cut off shoulder. So that's what I'm going to be using for it. So I'm just going to show you how to achieve it now. So what I'm going to do now, this is the center piece of the off shoulder. So I'm going to fold in the sleeve. So from this point to this point is actually the sleeve. So it's actually the sleeve. So we're going to be cutting off this sleeve, because the one that I have here, this picture that was sent to me by a subscriber, was actually attached to it. So you're just going to fold like this. We'll fold the sleeve in, and then I'm going to place it like this. So that is why you need to know how to cut this. So once you know how to cut this, you'll still be able to achieve it. So, and then I'll take the center piece, and then I'm going to place the center piece like this. So when you place like this, so now you see we don't have any sleeve on this. So I'm going to cut out the back and the front, and then we'll move straight to the skirt, so we don't waste much time. Okay guys, so I finished cutting it out. So like I said, so I'm dropping the link down, so on the description box, so you click on the link and watch this video to know how to cut this upper part. So where the emphasis is going to be on the tail side. That's the down part of this gown. So I'm just going to keep this on the side. So if you want to increase the neck line, so all you have to do is you just dip in. You could come down by 2 inches, or you could come down by 1 inch. So that's the thing, if you want the neckline to be deeper, because this picture up here, the neckline is a little bit deeper. So that's just like basically the difference. So you have your princess cut on the front. So I'm just going to keep this on the side now, and then I'll work on with the back part. So I'm just going to place it like this while I'm drafting the down part. So I have my paper lined up here already. I've already marked out some couple of lines on it. So guys, so this is the waist line now, and then this is my hip line, and then this is my knee line. So I'm just going to fold. So I've marked out the lines on it now, so I'm just going to fold like this in order for us to get this out properly. So what I'm going to do now, the waist measurement that I'm going to use, that's the waist measurement that I actually have here, is actually 28 inches. So when you divide 28 into 4, you have 7 inches here. So I'm just going to mark 7 inches like this on this point. So this is like the skirt part, that's the down part now. So this is 7 inches. So I'm just going to add 2 inches allowance to it, or 2.5 inches, because I'm still going to be taking 1 inch out for my dart. So I'll add 2.5 inches allowance. So I'm just going to mark it like this. So the next thing, from the waist to the hip measurement, is usually between 9 and 10 inches. That's from the waist measurement and the hip is usually between 9 and 10 inches. So that is why you see the gap like this on it. So it's usually 9 to 10 inches, like I said. So this is the hip line, and the hip that I'm using for this, the hip measurement that I'm using for this is actually 40 inches. So I'm just going to mark. When you divide 40 into 4, you have 10 inches. So this is 10 inches. So I'm just going to add an allowance to it. So you could use 2 inches or 3, 2 between 2 and 1 inch allowance. So the knee measurement. For the knee, you measure from your shoulder line. You measure up to the knee measurement. So to where the knee is. So that's where the fish and tail, and that's the fishness of the skirt, if I'm going to say it that way, is actually going to start from. So for the knee part, I'm going to be reducing. For this case, I'm going to be reducing the hip measurement. I'll reduce it with 3 inches. So I'm going to be using 8 inches. Sorry, I'm going to be using 7 inches for the knee line because I'm reducing it. I want it to be a little bit small. So and then I'll add my allowance to it. So now I'm just going to connect my lines like this. So I'm just going to use dotted lines first to indicate it for you. So I'll use my pattern curve for the top part and then use my ruler for the other part. So the next thing I'm going to do now for the down part. So this down part you could decide to do, depends on how wide you actually want it to be. So for this, I'm using the entire width of my paper, which what I have here is actually 12 inches. So I will advise you use between 12 and 15 inches. So if it depends on how wide you want it to be, and if you want it to be so wide, you on your pattern paper you could decide to slash and then spread it to get more volume. So 15 inches, between 15 and 16 inches, it will still be okay. So you get a more wider flare for the front part. So I'm just going to use my long ruler and then I'm using the entire width. So now I have my skirt. That's the front part of my skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do is the back of the skirt, and then in cutting out the back of the skirt, I'm going to add to the down part of my skirt. That's for the back skirt. I'm actually going to add to my pattern. So I'm just going to keep the upper part on the side like this, and then I'll show you how to add that tail, because the tail is going to be joined together. It's not like a goddess that you have to separate it. It's together tail. So this is the back piece of my skirt, and then this is the paper that I'm going to add. So I'm going to measure as much as 10 inches. 10 inches is even small. So I'm going to measure as much as 14 inches. I'm just going to check it out. Depends on how long you actually want the tail to be. So I'll measure as much as I want. So I'm making use of 15 inches is okay. 15 inches is okay. So I'm going to cut out another paper of 15 inches like this. So I'm cutting the back piece. So this is my front piece. So the second line that I actually have here is my allowance line, and then the dart. So I'll take the middle piece like this, and then I have the back piece, and then this is the extra part. So like I said, you could use between 15 and 16 inches. Depends on how long you want the tail to be. Then I'll take my paper like this and just place. So I'm going to cut this part and this part. I'm going to cut it, let it be the same, but I'm going to stop here. So guys, so this is the front piece. So I finished and cutting it out. So I've added the dart to it, and then I cut out everything. And then in adding the fish tail to the back, you just have to pay attention to what I'm going to do now, because the back and the front, you are not going to cut them the same because of the fish tail. And you could see on the pattern paper that I have now on the table for the back piece, you see it's bigger than the front. So you could decide to, depends on how big and full you want your tail, that's the tail to be. That will actually determine how much fold you are going to fold. That's how much extra you are going to add to it. So I have like about 8 inches here, which is 16 inches. So this as back pattern, we're going to be using the 4-piece skirt and pattern to cut out the back because of the tail. So I have that video also on my channel. I'm going to drop the link so you could watch it and you understand more what I'm just trying to say. So what I'm going to do now, take the front piece. So I have the basic lines on it. That's the waist line, the hip line, and then the knee line. I have them on it already. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take like this. So what I'm just going to be adding to the back piece, then I'll add 1 inch allowance. That's from the waistline. I'll add 1 inch or 1.5 inch allowance. The essence of this allowance is just to stitch it, because you know it's going to that will be the zipper allowance. So you could do 2 inch, which is your regular and zipper allowance. Then I'll come to the hip line also. I'll do the same 2 inch or 1.5 inch allowance. So I'm just going to do 1.5 inch. So there's the zipper allowance now from this place. And then on the knee line also, I'll do the same allowance. So I'm going to connect it now with a straight line. I'll just connect up to that point. So this is like now the allowance now. I'm just going to write it. So this is like the zipper allowance now for the back and piece. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to be creating the cuff to this point. So in creating the cuff, what I'm going to do from this knee level point, I'm just going to slant. I'm going to slant this allowance point. I'm going to be reducing it again. So from this point, so you should just see what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to slant it by half of an inch. I'm just trying to slant it, let it slide back into it, so you could see what I have here. So the knee point is a little bit closer, because I'm going to be taking it straight from this point now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be using the entire width of my of the paper that I have. So this is what I'm just going to be doing. I'm just going to use dotted lines just to indicate it for you. So you could see the length of the tail is still long. It's also longer than the regular length of the skirt. So this is what I'm just going to be doing from this point like this. I'm just going to be creating like a triangle, because this is cut together tail. It's not a gorded that you attach to it. So I'm just creating an extra flare, that's for the back, to create the fish and tail on it. So this is what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to extend on the down part of the skirt now. In extending it, I'm just going to follow this curve that is coming already like this, and then I'm going to extend down. That's for the other side. So I'm going to be reducing it later. I'll show you how to reduce it so the back and the front will fit together properly. So I'm just going to So I'm just going to, let me use this highlighter to highlight it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to reduce on the side. So because this is the zipper side where we have our tail. So this is the tail, that's the fish tail. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce on the side. That's the hip and side. So this is the hip part of this skirt. So I'm going to reduce on this side now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take my pattern cup. So you could set the side and to measure. So it depends on how long, because this fish side is the side that is going to be longer. This other side is going to be the same. So it's going to be the same with the front. So I'm just going to come it's about 5 inch. Let's say 5 inches is okay. So I'm just going to reduce it like this. You could do 5 inch, but since this is a pattern, I'm just going to make you do 4 inch. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to curve it out. I could decide to do it out this way. So I'm just going to cut it out. So it depends on how long you want the fish and parts to be. So guys, so you can see the back and piece now. So you can see the back piece. So this is the fish and tail. So this is how you actually achieve the fish and tail on the back of your gowns like this. So this is how you achieve it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to teach you how to cut you can see the drop that is on the skirt part. So I'm just going to show you how to achieve that now. So I'll take this and keep it on the side. So guys, so for the flounce, that was actually this type of flounce that was actually added to the down part, just like a drape that was added. This was how it was actually achieved. So you take the piece of fabric, depends on how long you actually want it to be and how full you want it to be. So you place it like this flat. All you have to do, you fold it at a triangle. So you fold at a triangle. So when folding as a triangle, so you could see it already has, that's a right angle triangle, not a full triangle. So I just folded like this at this triangle. So you already see a sharp and drop on the down part already. So the next thing you do, after the first one that you fold it back like this also. You fold it and then you bend it to the side. So you could see what we already have. So this was just like basically how that fold, that drape on the top part of it was actually formed. So you fold it like this and back. That's after cutting and sewing. You cut it out and then you sew and stitch and then you turn. So it depends, if you want to use two-face, you could use two-face. So when you turn like this side could be a different fabric and then this side will be a different fabric. And then you just cut it out like this. So you can see what I have now. So this was what I'm just going to show it out properly. So you could see that drape on it. So this was just basically, and then this side was folded, was just like basically what was added to it. You could see. So this was just like basically how that flounce was added to it. That's for the down part of your skirt. So you measure. So it depends on how wide you actually want it to be. Okay guys, so this is the front piece and then this is the back piece. So now I'm going to show you how to join the sides together, because the way it is, if you leave it that way, the gown will not come out fine. So you have to join the tail, there's the back tail and then the side of the front. You have to join them together, and in doing that, so I've extended the length of my skirt. So I've extended the length of the front part of the skirt. So because the tail that I added was too long, so that is why on the pattern, so that's why I had to extend the length with an extra paper. So in rhyming the side to make it rhyme, so the curve, so it comes, so it has a curve from the back to the front and everything is proportional. You take your front piece, so when trimming, before you start, so you take your front piece and then you place on top of the back piece. So that's the back, this is the back piece now. You join all four edges together. So this is the front, so this is the front, this is our front piece now. So now I'm going to be trimming it and let everything fit in properly. So this is where we're going to be coming to. Remember, then I actually used 4 inches to drop it. So all you have to do, you leave the tail side. This is the tail part. You don't touch that part. You could decide to turn it this way, and you see the curve is already lined out. So you have to rhyme the back and the front. It has to match. That's what I mean. It has to match. So it is matching from, so I'm just going to cut it out now from the side and then I'll explain it again for you to understand properly. So I'm going to cut it out. You just cut it out like this. So I'm just going to turn it back again now and explain to you. So this is the front piece now. In order for you to make the front piece and the back piece to rhyme properly, that's to click and to to be the same. So even the front piece, even if you are going to reduce the front piece now, all you have to do is when reducing, you make sure when reducing the front, so you see now the front is shorter than the back, but the part that has to be the same, the side of the front. So this is the side of the front now, this is the side of the front, and then this is the side of the back. The side of the front like this, and the side, that's the two sides of the front, and the two sides of the back has to be the same. It is only the middle, that's the center piece of the back, that's where the tail is. So you have to make sure, even if you are going to make the front far shorter, so I could decide I'm just going to still show you now, in case you still want the front to be much shorter. So you could do this. I'm just using this as example, and then all you have to do, you are going to be curving it to this point, because this is the point that has to rhyme with that has to match, I keep saying rhyme, that has to match with the back piece. So you're going to be curving it this way, making sure that this part, you are not going to cut out from it, this part from the top point like this, that's it, from the top point like this to the down point, it has to be the same. So even if you are cutting out and your skirt, that was why I had to use an extra paper just to explain it to you. So even if the front, which obviously the front has to be shorter than the back, but it has to be shorter just on this from the center side, but from the side it has to be the same, everything has to match. So that is what will give this gown that perfect shape. So you see now, so this is now our front piece. So you see the front and the back. I'm going to place them together now for you to understand what I actually meant. So this is the front piece, and then this is the back piece. So you could see on the side like this, you see it is joining. So you could see it and see the tail of the back. You see the tail. So because of the zipper allowance, so that is why this side is a little bit bigger. So when you sew, after stitching, it comes together and it sits properly. So that's that. So you see this side, you see it's joining with this side. So when you stitch and the back together, because the back has to be bigger, when you stitch the back together, because this is the paper, so it fits in, and then you have the extra length on the middle while the sides are the same. So that's just basically how you do this. So guys, I'm just going to round up now. So this is the flounce that we made, that you'll be using for this point. So for the upper part, so you have to make it, let it be long, depends on how you could make yours short, you could make it a little bit longer, so it depends. So I've already shown you how to do it. For the top part, so you could decide to make any flower with your fabric, any design of your choice, and place on top. So guys, I am done. So I've come to the end of this video. So like I said, I'll drop the link of this off shoulder at the top part, I'll drop it down for you. So I've now come to the end of this illustration. If you find it helpful, please do not hesitate to hit on the like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. So, and don't forget to share my videos with your friends and loved ones. So keep sending in your videos. So thank you so much. Keep sending in your pictures. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.